So with me now is an expert in all of this, Melbourne University Professor of American Politics, Tim Lynch. Tim, are these cracks only going to get worse? And in the grand scheme of things, does it matter?
Good evening, Caleb. Yes, they will get worse. And I don't say that because I'm some sort of prophet. It's because that I think almost without exception, since the Second World War, every second term presidency, and Trump, though he had a gap in the middle, still, I think, meets the demands of this particular pattern, all end in failure. They end in scandal. Nixon had Watergate. Reagan had Iran-Contra. George W. Bush had the global financial crisis. And of course, Barack Obama, his second term was consumed with Trump's winning run for the presidency. So we shouldn't expect much of a second term, even though Trump is a remarkable political actor and he's not a successive second termer. And I think added to that historical pattern, Caleb, is just the fact that as we move towards Trump's exit, and I am confident that that exit will come, certainly if it is dictated by the Constitution, which I'm confident hope it will be, rather than by an assassin's bullet or some other nefarious plot, will end on January the 20th, 2029. That means his power will inevitably start to ebb. Now, I just wonder whether this big, beautiful bill might be Pete Trump, that this is the moment when he's at his maximum influence and power. Only several months in, there's still energy, there's drive, there's ambition. But if he can't get this through, certainly if he can't get it through, but if he can't get it through cleanly, I think the fractures in the MAGA movement and the wider Republican conservative movement will start to appear.
Because the man that got it through the Senate is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and he is often talked about as the successor to Donald Trump, that he would end up being the Republican nominee at the next presidential election. So if these cracks open up, what are the chances that you could end up with a J.D. Vance in the mould of Donald Trump running for election when this term ends? Or does the sort of the establishment of the Republican Party, to put it that way, try to wrest back control from the MAGA crew?
Oh, it's a great question. I think the establishment is the MAGA movement. The establishment at the moment, while he's president, is Donald Trump. And what he's shown in his business career and in his presidential time is that he doesn't like the ideas of successors. I mean, think how he's relegated his children between the first administration and the second. I don't think he holds a very powerful candle for J.D. Vance. I think he's flattered that he's seen as the guy that brought him through. But I think he'd rather like to see a battle for his legacy, because he knows whoever comes after him is going to be a very inferior version of Trump himself. So Marco Rubio is the other guy to watch, I think. That whole cabinet is one of the most diverse in terms of gender and race in American history. But it's like a bag of snakes, Caleb. I mean, they are all starting to forge alliances with each other, to oppose one another. This will become more apparent as we move towards the midterms and after. He's really in lame duck territory there, because he can't run again, and the successor won't be anointed, and it's unlikely to be. And you'll get a much more fractious Republican Party, and we're seeing the intimations of that this evening, with the difficulty of passing his big, beautiful bill.
We've only got a minute, Tim, but of course the other place where there's some fracturing in the party is Trump's foreign policy. I don't think you can argue with the results, though. I mean, it worked in Iran. Now he says he's trying to get the ceasefire going in Gaza. What do you think the likelihood is of that ceasefire holding very quickly?
Well, who knows? I mean, what I think I'd say, Caleb, is that Trump has brought an ingredient that's been lacking since the Iranian Revolution of 1979. It's that idea that he's got a trigger finger, that he's prepared to take very strong military action, but that he's not interested in regime change. And partly this is his instinct. It's what he's grown up thinking. But it's also a way of trying to balance two impulses within the MAGA movement or within broader Republican politics. And one is that you use American power, hard power abroad to realize American interests. You invade and conquer and do regime change. And the more Rand Paul, the guy that opposed the bill in the Senate, who says, no, America should be doing less for the world. Trump, so far, I think we should give him some credit for being able to balance these two things and seemingly to have set back the Iranian nuclear program. We don't know how long, but also to effect a ceasefire. Barack Obama, who spoke the language of peace, never got close to the kind of positive effect that Trump has.
If you've ever seen anyone who probably deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, it's Donald Trump.
Well, I mean,
Tim,
we've got to go, love Tim. It more than Barack Obama.
He certainly would. We've got to go, unfortunately, Tim, but it's been great having you. Thank you for joining me.